Eventually we'll get there.
Sorry we're late, but welcome to the August 16th, 2021 meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. We have 4 applicants today, actually 3 applicants for actual appeals. We'll take them in the order that they are on the agenda. And so I guess might just well start right off. First is Kara Stark Elliott. Come on right up. Hi, Kara.
This is my husband, Dan.
Okay. Looking for a fence.
Yes, please. We would love a fence, yes.
Go ahead and describe it.
Okay, so we're on the corner of Beacon Street and Stratton. We're at a corner lot, so we're looking for a fence in our front of our house, extending to the side, which is, I guess, also considered a front yard, because it butts up against Beacon Street and Stratton. We're looking for a 4-foot aluminum fence to be built right on our property line, as opposed to the 30-foot setback for a corner lot. So on the screen, actually, the other angle that you did have, which we can show after, it would line up with the hospital fence. The only main difference, yeah, so it would line up on the Beekman Street side with the hospital fence, shorter. And it'll be in a little bit on the Stratton Place, even farther in towards our house, because that's just where our property line falls. So that's our only yard space, and with a 2-year-old, we need it fenced in. There's a dirt patch right there that used to be hedges, significantly tall hedges. We had them removed. The fence would be pretty much where those used to be, but with aluminum fencing, it's actually less of a visual obstruction with the fence because you can see through it. So we're actually making it safer by removing the hedges and installing the fence.
Okay. And everything else, it's going to be 4 foot all the way around?
Yes.
Okay, you're not changing to 6 foot? Okay.
No. 4-foot aluminum, black, without the spikes on top.
Okay. Any comments, questions?
I just want to clarify that it's 4 feet and it's going to be like the hospital fence that you can see through.
Yes, it'll be like the hospital fence, but 4 feet. Yep. So
Yeah.
shorter, but yes, see through, just like the hospital fence. Yep.
Anyone else? No? Well, shall we do the seeker? Oh, thank you. All right. We'll open a public hearing on this. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak? No? Okay, I will close the public hearing. All right, now we can do the seeker. Getting ahead of myself, sorry. I'm like a child, you have to train. The only thing on the seeker, building permit in 2. In addition to the zoning board, you'll need a building permit for the fence. Anybody have any other comments about it? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion.
I can. I move that after review of part 1 of the short environmental assessment form, the chair checked no, a small impact may occur for items 1 through 11, and part 2 of the form, and check the box indicating that proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impact and science.
Seconded by Ellie. All in favor? Aye. That'd be a pass. Okay. Anybody have a motion for the fence itself?
I'd like to propose a motion for appeal number 2287 to allow the installation of a 4-foot fence protruding into the 30 by 30 corner triangle on a corner lot with 2 front yards in a style similar to, with the same visibility as the fence across the one of the streets on the hospital, 4 feet tall, allowing it to exceed the height allowed in the 30-foot structure in the 30-foot triangle.
Seconded by Megan. A yes vote is to approve it. Motion. Be 5 yeses, you're good to go. See Joe for the building permit.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for participating. Okay. Next up, Robert Bushy. Good evening, looking to replace your front porch?
Yes, sir.
Same footprint exactly?
Yes, sir.
Describe what you're doing.
The existing front porch at 7 Belmont is currently, it's composite construction, has a side railing on it. That will be removed in its entirety and will be replaced with blocking structure footers and then faced with stone veneer and thermal stone on top for treads and the upper base. So it's going exactly in the same spot.
How old is that porch?
That porch is probably 15 or 16, 17 years old.
Was there a variance for the original porch?
I know I had that done when I had the house sided back then.
I'm guessing so. We can check though.
I meant to ask that when we were downstairs.
Yeah, I can go check.
Because that wouldn't, I mean, zoning's been around a lot longer than that. So you built that porch originally?
That
Or had
was
it built?
built by a contractor, yeah. Back
He's
then.
been in front of us several times, so I can't imagine that.
Okay.
You guys had a permit to do the work, right?
When I did the house, yes,
So I mean, that's part of the work. Shouldn't it? They had a building permit.
I'd have to take a look back then, but I gotta believe I did. I know I had, this was a contractor out of Moore's that did it for me, so.
Well, if he did, and he didn't get a variance, that would have been on the building inspector. Okay. So,
I'm
guessing I did. I just can't recall 17
No,
years ago.
that's okay. It's okay. I was on, it was 17 years ago, I was on the board.
Yeah, I gotta say at least 17 years.
Yeah.
It's 50, it's gotta be.
Well, I've been on 22 years, so.
I would say minimum.
It's there now.
Minimum.
okay, any questions from anyone on the board?
No.
Okay.
You do know that if you took, left almost all of it except one part, you could say you're rebuilding it, so it wouldn't need a variance, but it doesn't make any sense. We get this with garages all the time too, so.
Except with the thermal stone that I'm putting on top of it and the treads, it's gotta.
No, I'm saying if you just left like one little wall.
Oh, the one of the, okay, I got it.
You
Yes,
you understand. that.
I understand,
Some
yes.
people-
Yeah, yeah.
We often say to them, well, a person could build a garage, they can take this wall down, put a new wall,
understand,
this wall, when they're the same size.
understand.
Yeah.
Understand.
Um,
So that has to a portion of the pre-existing structure per se.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
then it's repair rather than.
gotcha, okay.
Is there, I'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak in regards to this? No, then I'll close the public hearing. We can still entertain the seeker. I went through it. I fixed number 2.
Absolutely. It does say ZBA building permit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Must be.
It was probably noted when it was brought in.
Right. So the no is definitely.
Anybody want to do a motion in regards to the seeker?
After review of the short environmental assessment form, I make a motion that the board chair check no or small impact on questions 1 through 11 and sign.
Second. Megan? All in favor? Aye.
Yes, there was variance. 2006.
There was variance?
Yes, to expand the front porch.
What year was it? Do you-
2006.
Oh,
So there we go.
So it's about that
I
time.
just don't remember.
Well, sometimes I can't remember yesterday, but I figured it was at least that amount of time.
You must have come for the, I was.
Probably.
I just don't remember
Should take your
Go ahead,
pathogen.
slide.
the age.
That off. I'll let you go.
Thank you for that.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion in regards to the appeal itself.
I will make a motion for appeal 2288, Robert Bushy at 7 Belmont, to remove his composite porch steps and install a concrete porch and steps wrapped in stone veneer and the same footprint as the existing porch. Good enough?
Second.
Second by Ellen. That'd be 5 yes votes. You're good to go.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for participating in the process.
Appreciate it. Thanks for helping me with my memory too.
But glad to see we had it approved previously too.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
All right, next up, Splash Car Wash. Come on down. Good evening. I guess to start out, have plans changed from this? What was submitted?
Here's the current, all right. So I'm not sure, I mean, we submitted, full package. Yeah, there was an initial submittal where we didn't have this 30 by 30 triangle.
Okay.
Have things moved?
Which thing?
Okay,
The
no.
roads are the,
Okay,
This is
so
the
they
previous
just,
plan actually that I had brought by mistake and then didn't have the correct one, so I think this is that.
okay, so the only difference is the 30 by 30 got taken out.
Yeah.
Okay.
but The original plan was only submitted to, I think, Nick, well, you know, just for review, and they're like, oh, no, your application's come part of us and gave us the list of things. The 30 by 30 can go.
Okay. Okay, so describe what we've got here.
So, just before we move, are we hearing both of these at the same time, or do we do them one at a time?
We'll discuss them both at the same time. We only have one seeker. We have a seeker.
Yeah, I submitted it here. I submitted, the longer of the two.
I mean, we'll be voting on each one individually, and they would be approved or denied individually.
Okay,
Okay. But, talking about the whole package,
okay.
let's talk about everything all as one.
So, this is the existing Eco Car Wash, Eco Car Wash in, on Cornelius Road, Cornelia Road, near the entrance to the Aldi's. It's a functioning business that we're just looking to complement with additional vacuum spaces. So currently there's 4, so it's an existing use, and we're looking to expand it with another, I believe it was 17 spaces total. The 2 variants are, one is to expand the use of the car wash to include the additional vacuums, and 2 is to do work in the front yard setback, the 40-foot setback. Additional work is happening that is not part of this, but maybe it is. We are proposing another booth in the back to increase stacking to meet the current zoning regs, to have 15 stackable spaces. So that'll help prevent backing up to that private drive as well. So, but beyond that, the work in the front yard setback includes adding 4 vacuum spaces, the vacuum unit, and then in addition to that, we're looking to close off that exit, which would basically be, it's sort of the main exit right now. It's kind of right in the center of that 40-foot setback line. Right there, there's an exit, which is pretty close to the the existing intersection. So we're looking to turn traffic up and either use, 1 of 2 exits further away.
Now, you own property behind that, what you've developed, correct? There still is a fair amount of the lot.
There is a fair amount of space behind that, yeah. But, our plan was for, possibly a future development back there. And our service operation business. I'm really not sure what we wanted to do with that. So we're just kind of try to leave that and make the existing circulation a little bit better and fix a couple of the traffic issues. So one of the things that we've heard, and that I heard in comments and other meetings that I've attended here, was that we have a tendency to back up out onto the side road. So if you want to go back to that other, I can show you on this, but where the stacking is here, currently we have 2 automated pay stations, and the capacity of our car wash tunnel can wash more cars than those can cash out in an hourly basis. So we also didn't meet the criteria, the existing criteria of having 15 car stacking. So by adding a 3rd station, we'll be able to meet the demand for the car wash and process cars faster, not back up out of the road as much, and also coming in compliance with that 15 car stack regulation.
The car wash is not going to process cars. I only because I read this county response. What you have a response from the county?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so when they talk about the fact that the 3rd or whatever booth, pay station, the car wash is still going to put the cars in the same place, so they're saying the cars are going to back out.
Correct. We currently have to assist.
Right,
those pay stations.
what they say here is that they don't understand, they don't believe that the 3rd one is going to alleviate the issue of the cars stacking issue. That's one of the issues we have, I guess I would say, is that the county has responded, and I happen to be at that meeting, not about you guys, but about parking while I watched. Neither one of you, was somebody else that presented. County had several issues, which is why they approved it. So one of the questions is, are you going to be responding to me? Or are you going to respond to the county questions? And is this plan going to change so that we're not at a point where we can look at this plan? Is there any point in even considering this plan if in fact it's going to change when we get done with the planning board? Both of which we and they need majority plus one. The other more significant thing is that they brought up is that the there's, you know, the only entrance is to go through the car wash, and I'm not to pin you back on this, but when we were here before for New Way, one of the points that you made is that they didn't have an exit lane. And they changed their plan to create the exit lane, and you don't have an exit lane now. And I'm just asking about that.
We have the space to exit the vehicles here, so the argument that I had with New Way was that once a car was in line, there was no way for them to leave that line without going through the car wash. We're here, this is not curved at all, so anybody that comes through our pay stations that's in line can leave right here and exit. This is not curved, this is just a line strip.
So it seems like
There is an exit, and that's what we have discussed, that we did have a way for people to, even when they were all the way up here as of this vehicle or this vehicle, if they changed their mind, they could just turn out of line here and exit.
I don't think you
That's
can
all.
turn a vehicle around and come around. I guess what I'm gonna tell you is that, and that's sort of outside of our jurisdiction, right? All this traffic pattern stuff, but if the county is, and I'm confused about it too, but if the county was confused about exit lanes, and if that's gonna get dealt with, and the other questions. The question for me is, is this plan gonna change from this? Do you think that you're gonna go to the city planning board and they can go, yeah, this is okay, we'll give you a majority plus one and approve this plan like this?
That's our plan. Our view is that we're improving the existing conditions. It will create more stacking. We get 3 more vehicles off of the street in this instance by adding that third pay station. So they're correct in saying that this isn't going to increase the throughput of the car wash, but it gets 1, 2, 3, and then possibly 4 or 5 more vehicles that we're not showing here off of the road in stacking. That would, right now, if we deleted this lane, those 3 vehicles would be stacked behind these 2 lanes out on the street. So we are helping to improve the car stacking up on the road. And it's just going to help, satisfy the need to wash the car. And then with the vacuums, we currently have 4. People tend to wait for them. There's not enough of them. We don't charge for it. It's a free service that we just offer to people to vacuum their car. And what we're proposing is to upgrade them to, a nicer unit that works better. They don't have to spend as long vacuuming their car. And some of the things that we noticed were that a lot of times I think people just come out here and they try and exit right to Cornelia Street. They won't be able to do that anymore with this plan. And as Stephen said, there's currently an exit here, which is very close to the traffic light. And that is sometimes problematic for people trying to get out and turn left. So we're now going to force them to circulate back through the property and exit either here or down there, which gives them a lot more room. If somebody's turning right off of Cornelia Street in here, we're not going to have the situation of a possible accident right at that corner.
Yeah, I'd just like to add that this is, already existing. We're just trying to complement the existing business. It's not like a new development. We're just, it was intended to be a minor project.
Currently, we offer the vacuum services that's working with gas pumps used to be. The other thing that we're doing with this project is we're going to no longer be leasing any space to, I think there's a salon and right now leasing space, and that's all going to go away. It's just going to be the one use.
But you do not charge for the vacuum?
We do not. No. We look at it as part of our cost and memberships where people pay a monthly fee to wash their car with us, and it's just something that we offer to our members.
So if we said no to the in the 40-foot, it wouldn't affect your bottom line.
If you said no to in the 40-foot setback in the front.
Yes.
We would just have less vacuums, we would still propose to do the ones along the side. It would just not give us as many spaces to satisfy. As many customers, but it's still more than 4, so it would be an improvement.
How many are you looking to have right now with this plan?
So there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 in that back row.
It's on there.
7 more there, so 14, 15, 16, 17 spaces.
What's that?
It's a
Typically,
lot more than 4.
so- a lot of the newer ones that I've developed recently, I've run a couple of those plans, we've done them with as many as 30. Typically, we try to put between 18 to 26 of them in. So 17 would just be a little shy. of
Are they,
that.
I'm sorry, are they bigger lots in general?
Some of them are, some of them, we actually have one that's smaller than this, where we have almost 20 of them on it. It's pretty much the same layout as this piece of property, but we didn't have the setback issue here, so we fit a couple more in there. But I'm actually even giving it more thought. I probably wouldn't want to put those 2 there anyway, because if a car ever came out of the tunnel, with a customer that lost control of their vehicle or something, I wouldn't want to have a customer walking behind their car here and possibly get it anyway. So after Stephen and I talked about that, we didn't even want to ask for a variance to put it in that triangle, just for that reason as well.
I mean, that's a busy side road there.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna tell you that I'm concerned about the county.
I didn't, we didn't get their comments.
What's that?
I didn't get their comments. Did you?
Yeah, I didn't see them. That's why I assumed-
What's that?
Yeah, they weren't providing me.
You don't know what the response is?
No, I don't.
No.
Well, yeah, take one and read it. Because, and again, it's not that I do or don't want you to put back in things, it has nothing to do with that, but I'm concerned because the county, and I was at the meeting, like I said.
Yeah.
Had to beat the crap out of the guy that presented. I mean, they were nice to him, but they just said, we don't like this, which is why the response is like that. Doesn't mean it's not solvable, but I'm concerned because even when they said there's no exit lane, the presenter didn't say, oh yeah, here it is, you can come out here. I don't really believe, and I've done a lot of site plans, that there's proper radiuses shown necessarily to show, like, I would want to see an exit lane, how it gets out. And I don't think you can turn that car around. And there are a set of, I guess my question is, the county raised several concerns, and I don't know if it's premature. I don't feel comfortable necessarily. The traffic and this stuff is not our jurisdiction.
If we took these 2 parking spaces and we moved them to here and here, this would be an easy number to an exit.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but it needs to be on a plan. It needs to be part of a plan.
Well, that's true, but that's also not part of what we're here for either.
That's right. You're right.
So
It's
I
not our
would say we would-
jurisdiction.
We would add that to the plan.
I understand that, but you're asking us to approve a plan that you're going to then modify. And I'm assuming you're gonna have to modify more once you read the county stuff. I'm not trying to be mean to you. That's not my point here. You want to-
I don't think you are. And I know we have a little bit of history.
But
with
I'm
that past
concerned
meeting,
because the county raised questions about the stacking. They raised questions about the no exit lane and so on. So all I'm trying to do is help guide you as a member, regular member. Guide you through a process that includes other boards, another board that has to have a supermajority to approve it. Whose jurisdiction that is.
Correct.
And I just personally feel more comfortable once those questions, it's also, we're being asked to do an accessory structure variance because they're considered accessory structures too close, et cetera, et cetera. So I think you're gonna end up, there are things that can be shown on the plan. There are things, I'm not saying you shouldn't have bathrooms at all. I'm saying that for me, as an individual member, the process is that we should have a plan. Questions of the county. Otherwise, you're gonna need 4 out of 5 of us to say yes, I suppose, okay?
Mhm.
And I had sort of.
Well,
had
they're
the
still gonna
impression-
need 4 out of 5 unless they go back before the county. They receive.
That's right. The other thing is that I thought that the fellow that went to the county said he was coming back with a different plan. And I could be wrong about that. I was there for a completely different reason, waiting for my time.
Yeah, went to the county. I don't even know.
I'm not saying that's true.
Yeah. I'm not even aware of who went to the county meeting.
Yeah, I know, and I just want to make sure that. And I'm not trying, again. you know,
So a
it's
lot of the
process.
county, all the county's concerns are issues that we're improving though. So I mean.
They are, but it's not what we have in front of us to consider.
Well, I mean, these to me seem like site plan concerns that will be the next meeting if we move forward with the variances that
Well,
we're.
you're gonna go see the planning board in a week, right?
Ideally, and you know, I mean, when it comes to it, we can easily add wheel stops to these spots to prevent any overflow into, you know, what's currently there. There is no sidewalk currently there. There's sort of like a paved area in the front that we're maintaining. As such, we're not encroaching beyond that. We're kind of keeping the existing parking patterns and just adding vacuums there if it's approved.
I'm just telling you my concern.
But you are putting essentially machinery right next to the sidewalk.
In the front yard setback, correct. There is no room for sidewalk or anything along the Aldi private one. But yeah, I mean, we can, I guess there's 2 things here. Is one is if, you know, you're not comfortable with that front yard where we should discuss it now, because even if we do come back with another plan, if it's a no-go, we would just be kind of going
Spinning your
around.
wheels.
Yeah,
And then beyond that, the use is just an expansion of an existing use. So, you know, there's still opportunity in the future for another board to say, we don't like this, the county doesn't like this, work on these plans. But, you know, I think what I'm reading, I'm not seeing anything here that would impact any of what we're looking to do personally. And I think in general, we're improving these situations that they're bringing up. You know, if there's a new development, I can understand some of this having more, but we're really trying to do a minor project to an existing business where we just, you know, enhance the use and 2, to try to address one of the concerns, which is the stacking. So it's not like we weren't proactively trying to do that anyway. I mean, if I don't know if that booth is part of the special use permit or not.
It's more just the expansion of the use,
So,
whether it's 3 or 2 booths, and the stacking, like you say, really is not our purview. It's more, can that property handle the expansion of the use? Will it affect the neighborhood?
so
You know, that sort of thing.
yeah, I mean, the intention is to kind of keep the use as it is and just enhance what's there. I mean, the tunnel's the tunnel. It's got, you know, the speed it goes, and that's not changing.
But what you're saying is, right now, the speed of the tunnel is not the limiting factor.
It's the booths.
It's
And
the
that's
booths
what
and the
backs it
backing
up. Yeah, so that's why
as
the more.
soon as you
booths-
add more, then you're adding more traffic, you're adding
It's the same
something that we need to
traffic.
consider, because
Yeah.
it'll be, because once it stacks up to Cornelia Street, nobody else is gonna wait because they can't get in, you know.
we
So-
currently have to send an attendant out to help the machines. And we're just looking to alleviate that and create the extra stacking to meet the requirements.
So there will be, essentially, your intent is more throughput through the tunnel.
Well, I think a better management
Ultimately.
of the throughput.
We, on our busy days, already meet the capacity of the throughput of the tunnel. So it's not going to increase that. We're not going to drive more traffic by doing
I thought you
that.
were telling us that the 2 booths was your limiting factor.
The 2 booths do not process enough vehicles per hour to meet that demand, so we send an attendant out to supplement the 2 booths. So during those peak times, we'll have the 2 booths plus an attendant
Getting the same throughput.
getting the same throughput that the
Through.
third pay station would have without us having to have an attendant recognize the need to go do that. And it gives us the stacking to meet the 15-car stack requirement.
I guess my feeling is that although much of this is answerable, I'm not comfortable with more formal answers without something on paper. Not because I don't believe you, that's not the issue, but because I want to make sure I understand and I'm a plan guy. And I look at plans. But my feeling is that to get it done right, and I believe I see the stuff stacked there in crates, correct? Is that?
Correct, because
Right. And
we had
it's-
discussion.
I'm not
somebody
saying,
in
I'm
the
not saying you
town
you
that-
shouldn't be able to, in some way, for me personally, expand that business and have more free vacuum cleaners. That's not my issue. It's to make sure that it doesn't, for the special use permit part, for me, have a negative impact on the neighborhood because whether it's noise, and I think the things are probably quiet, I don't know. I'll look at that one again. Whether it's too close to the street, the things that they brought up or whatever. Again, it's stuff that's outside our jurisdiction, but becomes our jurisdiction because to grant a special use permit, we have 5 criteria. We just went through the 5 criteria for a year and a half.
Correct.
More with Prime about the 5 criteria about how it affects neighborhood and things are included, parking and all that. For me, I am concerned about the exit thing, and although I believe that you can figure out a way to do it, it doesn't show here. So I can't personally get behind.
But-
Can I say that's
but
not
you were
part of
okay
it?
with, you were okay with another applicant telling you that they would create that space without updating their plan?
No, they did.
It just
update
seemed
the plan.
discriminatory.
They did,
You were
no,
okay
they
with
did
it.
update their plan and change it.
I was at the meeting, you did it as a condition. They
They
said that they said that they would take that second entrance lane and they would change it to an exit lane, and you approved it. So the treatment that
But
he
that was
got
different
is-
because that was an actual lane and road.
Oh, it's
Instead of
different
make
because
it-
I
And I'm
was-
not trying to.
No,
be-
it's.
Can I just say that that's a condition that the site currently has. So that's an existing condition. That's an existing condition of the site already, though.
I understand that, but
So I mean, but,
I'm just talking about me personally. It's not, you know, I have. Right
But-
now,
but I
have an
don't,
issue because I don't feel comfortable about it because of the county. That's
but,
all I can tell you.
so yeah, I mean, I didn't even know we were on the county agenda. I thought this was the first
I
one.
mean, you guys didn't see this yet, right?
We did not know. I
No,
mean,
we didn't see it.
Had you seen that, would you have maybe said it will come back in another month?
no,
Well,
all this is, I mean, I don't think so. And
I mean, I guess what I'm gonna tell you is that if you don't get 4 positive votes tonight, then you can't submit this, a plan close to this for a year.
a year,
A year.
Yes.
Has to be substantially different.
It has to be substantially different. I'm not
Okay.
trying to, but I'm trying to be helpful now.
yeah.
I understand what you're doing,
And I,
so, that's fine.
So,
I mean, that's part of the issue here. If normally it's 3 votes, it's 4 votes is the certain majority. If 2 of us say you're not comfortable with the county as an example, whatever reason, you can't come back with this plan or something like it for a year.
I understand.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it'd be good to know we were on this.
I'm not saying you can't answer their questions either, but I'm not sure you can answer them as easily this evening, and you might be more easily able to answer them after you work this out with the city planning board, whose jurisdiction more revolves around traffic.
Well, I mean, one of their statements is the one-way traffic. It's not clear if it continues to use, we made it clear on the plan that use was going away. It was just one call out though, but I mean, this is essentially a reduction of use because the salon will be going away. So the only expansion is for vacuums, but that's for the existing clientele and it's more of like an added benefit. So I mean,
But they're changing the traffic pattern.
yeah, but that's not your purview. So it's the uses and stuff. I mean, so the traffic patterns is the next meeting we're going to. That's why we have to go to that one. Assuming we can get there, is that site plan review. I was told the reason we were going there is because of the change in traffic circulation. So tonight, it was my understanding where we're talking about whether we can do work in the front yard or expand the use, the existing use to include additional vacuums. So, I mean,
I'm only stating my opinion.
yeah, that's, and I appreciate that. And I'm just, what we don't want to do is then go back, do a bunch more work and then have to come back here and be turned down anyway, because you don't like other aspects of it. So I guess if your suggestion is that we try to come back, I still think we'd like to have as much of a productive conversation as we can.
How about this? How about if I say it to you this way? We have a list of concerns from the county. If you satisfy, to me, and I'm only one member, if you satisfy the city planning board next week that you've met those concerns, I don't have any problem with it.
With this front yard setback or the,
Whatever,
special use permit.
once you get done, that's my opinion. I'm only one member.
You don't have a problem with vacuums in the 40-foot setback?
What's that?
You do not have a problem with the vacuums in the 40-foot setback?
In the 30-foot zone?
40.
The 40-foot.
Oh, you mean, no, you mean, I'd like to see it, and I think that that's gonna come out with the planning board. I think they're gonna make you try and move those back or do something. I don't know, but that's part of why I'm concerned. I think that though, that part of the site plan will get, if you can get the planning board to agree that why that works or doesn't work, to me, that's a big positive thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, this concerned me, it concerned me when I watched it at the meeting a little bit, and then I read this, and
Yeah,
I'm one member.
I understand.
Any other comments from anyone else? Be vocal.
The only thing for me, and I would be agreeable in the same way if you just showed and we agreed on the condition, would be the exit lane. That to me is still, I frequent this car wash quite a lot, and the way it looks now, I have a hard time seeing how I'd be able to get out if those parking spaces were full. But like if you did like you said and move those two
Remove those
spaces
two.
over,
Yeah.
that I
We
can
we
wrap
make
my
that
mind
adjustment.
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a member too. I like that you're adding another lane, because one time my car changed over and I forgot to change the thing and I was stuck there for
Yeah.
forever and I felt bad. When did you guys buy it?
We bought this
A couple of months ago, right?
January.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, going as often as I do already, since you guys have purchased it, the stacking on the street has been a lot better. There were times with the old ownership that I went by and it was so backed up, I didn't even bother.
Mhm.
And I haven't had that since you guys purchased it. I like that pulling out onto the street is going to be moved down rather than one quick turn and a quick turn to get out of there.
I did put a lot of thought into that when I looked at it, because this is an existing car wash that we purchased that isn't designed the way that I would have designed it if I was building it new. And I have had a lot of experience with developing these, and I said, okay, what can we do to just make this thing better? And working on our processing and training of the employees and fixing some of the issues with the equipment in the car wash tunnel has allowed us to improve some of those situations that you've noticed, and I appreciate the comments. with
Yeah.
that. And, we want to be good neighbors in the town, and we want to be good tenants and do the right thing, so.
And I need to state for the record, I don't think I talked to any of the three of you, but you mentioned there was a conversation with staff from the town.
Yeah, there was a
It's
conversation.
actually the city, and somebody talked to me about vacuums and said, we got some plans for improvement, and one of them is vacuums. Do you think there's any problem with that? And I didn't have a plan in front of me, but I knew you had some vacuums there already, so
Yeah,
I thought you were just swapping out some new vacuums for some old ones.
Yeah.
And then the
yeah,
plan
that
came,
was Steve.
oh,
actually.
Steve, yeah. And then the plan came in and we saw it was 20, and I was like, oh, man. this
Yeah, and
is
I'm
not what I
6
thought.
hours away, so he just had that meeting
Yeah.
up here. So Steve used to manage.
So that conversation did exist, and I did state that
We just made
it
a
probably wouldn't be an
$250,000
issue.
investment
But
on
I,
purchasing that stuff after that conversation.
yeah, but
That's where
I
some
was
of my
unaware
frustration
that
comes from, so.
it was that there was a large expansion on.
I
this.
understand that, and we want to fix that and go through the right process, but we had a substantial $250,000 investment into the equipment that's just sitting in crates over there that you brought up that you saw. Because of that conversation, we thought that we didn't have to go through this process. We asked first, and I understand that, you didn't, maybe it wasn't portrayed to you in
The extent that
the
it
the
is.
extent that it is, correct, the scope of the project. So I understand that, and we want to go through the right channels and do this the right way. I just,
So
I mean, we could talk about it, but if they're not gonna be.
Well, I mean, I think-
seeing it on the plan. So Steve,
Well, we can go through all these concerns, though. I mean, it says the plan as provided does not appear to provide an entrance to the site without driving through the car wash, which may be resolved through the addition of an entrance exit layout to the furthest north driveway. I mean, there's 3 entrance lanes and 1 exit lane there. It's just the idea is to have this be just a car wash use now. So,
Bring that plan back up.
Steve,
I want to show you something. Can you bring up the Google Earth picture?
actually, you
Of the lawn.
could do it right on that site plan too, but.
Yeah, we could, but. If he brings that picture, I don't
I don't
show
know
off the road.
You had an overhead.
It was like an
Top
over
view,
area
yeah.
over,
Yeah.
It was a really good point he brought up. There's a shared road between us. and-
All right, so
yeah, I just didn't know if there's.
Where
any
is it?
change there.
where's the car wash?
It's
Right there.
This here?
Yeah,
No, it's.
the car dealer.
Okay, yeah, okay. So cut, if you bring it down to me a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah. there you
You're
go.
right there. It's right in front of you.
right, okay, so the cars come in.
Here's the stack.
Yep, this is Northern Pride Way. So the cars can exit out here and go right down Northern Pride Way. That's a whole nother street between Plattsburgh Forward and us.
Is it an active street?
That's a
Where does
pub,
the
that's a
street
pub,
end?
that-
You know
It's
what?
actually a street, yeah.
That's the one we were talking about.
It's
I've driven many
public
times.
driveway.
It's a public way.
No,
No,
No.
this, you could literally turn, I've been there for forever.
He was the manager of that location, and now he oversees the region for us because we purchased this one. And
So this is this old? No, this is.
Yeah, it is. It's an older
So the base
set.
station's here now, and there's our fence here, but this is open to allow fire access. We have to leave it open, and this is a road. So the cars are literally sitting here, they can go right out here.
So
That's an
Could you
original
put
site.
signage or something? I believe you. I've just never
Sure,
noticed.
yeah.
Yes.
So I
I didn't think I could drive there.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we
you
had
can
some
drive
kind
Look at
of
me like I'm nuts if I did
indication to
that.
people that was a thing and that I would alleviate my concerns about the
Yeah,
accident.
that's literally right. So we park here, and you can literally go right out and down the road.
and that is a public road.
well, like I said, I think that Plattsburgh Ford, now Bailey Ford, their employees are parking half on the street.
No, they're not. They have their own, if you can see it right here, that road is left wide open, because they get deliveries. They get UPS coming.
Yeah, but
down
I
there,
think the
FedEx.
road's wider than what they leave open.
No, it's, you can drive a vehicle down it easily.
Those are property lines on there.
Right, so I don't know if that, yeah, that's a shared road. It used to go all the way back here. This was where, Harold Hicks used to own a property way back here. And then there were some other houses years ago with Fred Ward, going Northern Pride.
Yeah.
Fred and then the Ward owned it. They hired me. This is 93.
So that's a while ago.
Yeah, so I've been there since 93. They hired me, and then, yeah, these were houses back in the torn down, but then this road here has always been an access road.
I built that building for Fred Ward.
You built the car wash with Dick?
Huh?
Was it Dick Glow, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Dick Lowe, it was RT Renovation, was my partner, and I rebuilt the car wash.
Nice. They're old.
I did all
With Fred?
we did the concrete and all.
Really?
It's been all changed since then, because that was,
Oh, yeah. Well, the building underneath the skin is the same.
it was in the 80s.
Yep, 83.
83.
83 Fred and Linda.
Yep, we
It
tried
used to
it.
be, remember, there was a auto parts store.
Yes, that's right.
Was up front. And then, yeah. So yeah, there's an access road where the cars can literally go. right out.
I think Dick built the store.
Okay, yeah, you're right, because there was no store, there was a wash on the road. There was Auto Land or Auto something, Auto Spa,
Right.
and then Fred
Did you want to address?
Yeah,
other
so I mean,
points?
I think that addresses the first, well, two concerns. One, there being an ability to have an emergency exit, or two abilities. And then the other is that, you know, the idea now is to have this just be a car wash use. So, you know, there is, can you please go back to the site plan? There is 3 entrances and 1 exit. So there is the ability to enter and exit from, you know, enter the site. You know, the next one is the vacuum locations are extremely close to the edge of the street and there's no visible barrier to vehicles from overhanging into the street. So I'm assuming that's along the private driveway to the Aldi's. And with these spots, one, there's an existing curb there, but we could provide curb stops, you know, which is pretty easy to do to provide that buffer. And satisfy that concern. Says a guardrail may be required. No, that we would just do it with wheel stops. The site in general is overlaid with the uses. I mean, this is a single use now. So it's a car wash with vacuums. I mean, that's not really, I don't understand the overloaded with uses opinion.
Maybe they didn't understand that we were going to be removing the salon.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to it, it's no longer, I mean, it's a single use just with, you know, complimentary vacuum service. That's about it. I mean, it's no longer a multi-use property. It's a car wash. And then beyond that, yeah, I mean, that's basically what they said. And then we talked about the stacking already, but the stacking issue is still a major, it's an improvement to what's there now. And whether or not these vacuums occur, that's still, going to be there, where this project is an attempt to improve it and meet the current city zoning for 15 stacking spots.
Is the 40-foot setback just for the ones that come in here?
No, it's a front yard setback, accessory structures in
That's a
this.
private road, you said anyway, the other one?
Yes,
So there's no
Yes.
setback.
and it would be 0 setback anyway from the side. It's from the front. The accessory structures have to comply with the principal use regulations.
So the 40-foot setback is just those 4 across the front.
And the machinery.
Yep, and the machinery, which.
Is that where that's where the proposed vacuum is?
Yes.
Machine is right there, right?
Yes.
Does it have to be there?
It's preferable there due to function, but if we're not allowed to work in that 40-foot right away, then we could come up with another solution.
And I have another solution to where we could put it if it's not, if we can't put it in that.
Say that again, Tony.
I have another space where we could put it, it's just not as preferred for us, so, and just if there was any concerns with noise at, the company that we're buying the vacuums from has done a lot of sound meter readings on it, and at 30 feet, it's only 38 decibels. And that's shown with this circle. So this kind of outer squiggly circle here is 30 feet. So at that far away, it's only 38 decibels. which is-
No, the question isn't so much about that. it's about-
Yeah, I was just.
Well,
yeah.
it is. I mean, if you're walking up the street and all of a sudden the machine starts right next to you, because we're next to a
So
sidewalk.
my first question about it was because it's in a 40-foot setback.
Yeah.
Because it's in the 40-foot setback, so if we weren't okay with the 40-foot setback variance, we would move that vacuum producer to, right. And then we would just plummet underground to that. City structure doesn't have its own vacuum on it. It's just one main central vacuum.
The hatch triangle just inside the 40-foot
That's
setback.
the one near the top or the one near the
This
bottom?
one,
No, that's up above.
Yeah, that's just.
this one up here,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could go there. Right?
it could, yeah.
outside, but it is a noise issue too, you're right, but.
Well, that's part of your, you know, the questions on the, you know, the permit, you know, that you have to go through.
And I'm more than okay with it, even if you were okay with these vacuum structures in the 40-foot setback, but not the producer for the noise. I would move it back here anyway, because it doesn't matter where I tie into the system, it's just easier for clean out purposes if it's there, because it's a straight run to these and a straight run down the side, so the less 90-degree turns that we make. If we have to service it and clean them out and snake the vacuum pipes, because sometimes they clog up.
So that inner circle is 69 decibels?
The inner circle is 69 decibels, the next circle, I believe, is 50.
54? How often is it producing that noise? Is it constant or is it?
It's constant, and it's on a variable speed drive, so it will speed up and slow down on demand, and those decibel readings are at the.
What was the decibels again?
It's,
Yeah, it's on the plan. At 20 feet, it's 54, and at 30 feet.
so, and that would be at the machine's peak, so it's on a pressure sensitive system that's connected to a variable frequency drive, it's called. And what that does is we turn the machine on, and to make it energy efficient, it only rotates at the speed it needs to maintain the suction. So if only one person is using the vacuum, the motor might be running at a very low RPM. And as more people start using the vacuum, it will slowly.
So those
increase.
numbers are max?
Those numbers are maximum. And it's got, they were able to get it that quiet by putting a muffler on the producer, basically. So it's got like a car muffler on it.
What time of day would that start and stop?
So that would be during our operating hours, which are
7 AM to 7 PM.
7 to 7.
What about? Okay, you're here just so we understand, and let's just.
I'm comfortable.
Let's forget about some of the county stuff for a second. But you're here for a special use permit, and you're here for an area variance because you have accessory structure. So my question would be very simply, if you got rid of the, which I find to be a little problematic in some ways anyway, because of the exit code. Can you get rid of the vacuums in the 40-foot? I'm talking about the machines and the thing.
Yes,
Then that goes away.
correct.
You don't care about it along that side. You may want to reconfigure how you do that, whether you put that thing over at the end of them, whether you move that curb cut down a little bit. And that's a site plan issue for the planning board. But if you, the only area variance is a 40-foot setback of accessory structure. Is that correct?
I believe that's true after they moved them from the 30-30 triangle. Is that,
Correct.
you agree?
So one way to look at this is, now I'm good, Kat. One way to look at this is that, and then anything we would do would be contingent on the planning, city planning board being.
Correct, because it
Would be to eliminate the 40-foot setback by not doing that, which I think gives you a cleaner. You might even find that you're gonna put an entrance, an exit that way. I don't know. That-
Yeah.
You're not allowed, they're not allowed to have an exit on Cornelius.
No, I'm talking about
Yeah.
that way.
I don't like that exit that close to the traffic light, so.
Then you don't have, I don't care.
Unless they told me they wanted it there, which
Right, well,
I
that's-
feel like that's. a
But anyway,
detriment.
one of my thoughts is that it would make, and I'm assuming that you're gonna show the planning board radiuses for the exit out or use the street, which is
I
okay.
would give both options of exiting here or exiting there as.
Yeah, and that, because you,
bypass.
okay.
Yep.
But,
And, I'm fine
but
with
one of the
it.
biggest things would be if you could get rid of the issue of the 40-foot setback, then all we're talking about is a special use permit and whether or not the expansion by adding X amount of vacuums and by relocating the noise, whether it's good or bad amount of noise, away from the 40 feet, okay? Which would also allow for a much cleaner streetscape, sidewalk, no issues with guardrails and all this other stuff that the county has. And the limit said, then all you're asking for is a special use permit, which a sense is a matter of.
Right now, do you have access to Northern Pride Way or St. John's Ave, whatever it's called?
Yes,
You do? Okay.
it's actually on the property. I think. It's a public right of way.
Right out.
I think it's been easemented in according to the survey.
Well, the only reason I asked, if you were putting one new in, it'd have to go before the council.
No, it actually looks like it's on their property.
Steve actually came up and whispered to me that people drive through there all the time, so. It's,
Is that where your garbage truck goes?
They actually come down the main road and our garbage is right there by the gas station. They go there, but they could go there.
Shouldn't you know?
My territory is the other side.
So, and then currently, I think the salon occupies this space as much here, and that's going away. Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's going away?
It's going away.
Are you gonna have any store, any retail or anything?
No, no retail, we're gonna use that for just storage space and, you know, we feel like it's too confusing to try to add anything to it.
You don't want to sell like.
We don't, so
Retail?
we have a lot of car washes where we operate in Connecticut, we're in like Fairfield County, like near Greenwich and some other areas where we operate full service car washes where we vacuum the car, we take the car from the customer's possession, we wash the windows and dry it off. And we have a C-store and a person in there, and we sell all kinds of stuff from greeting cards to, I mean, my wife goes down there and goes shopping all the time, comes home with handbags. I don't even know where our buyer gets this stuff from, but we sell scout bags and all kinds of stuff. And it is so difficult for us to operate those.
Yeah.
That as we expand, we're just trying to kind of simplify our operation and just do things like this where it's easier for me to manage remotely because like I said, I'm 5.5 or 6 hours away. And I can just have a phone call with Steve or a Zoom call with Steve once a week. Kind of just oversee stuff up here. It's a lot better for us. So we have zero plan to do anything with that space in there other than use it to just store our equipment. Soaps and.
All these
Yeah,
things.
Well,
It's part of the reason this plan works, because if we had a use in there, if we had a different use in there, the one-way circulation, the county would be right, it would not work. But since that's going away.
The previous owner that we purchased.
Right.
They for a while. He's done so many different things. He's quite interesting.
He came to us for a sign.
Yeah.
Back when it was before we had.
Joe
those signs.
Smiley over there. He's a good guy. I actually had dinner with him the other night and he was telling me about all the different things he's done in his life. Working at the White House and in the military and stuff. And then, so the advertising business and then he went to car wash and then he started a salon. And I was
Still cars there.
Yeah.
like, was he really?
He had used
used cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if you look at the satellite that was up, the back was full of cars.
Yeah, wow.
So
So we want to be simple. We just want one car.
So, but to be clear, you're willing to get rid of the stations and the equipment in the 40-foot setback.
I mean, I'd like to have one, but if that would, you know,
That's more of a problem for me than
Yeah.
than the county, than.
well, we,
Well,
I
there
mean, I
is,
think it's two separate.
yeah, there is
Yeah.
parking spaces that are currently there now.
There's one, I'm sorry.
There is parking spaces that are currently there now, and this is just essentially a different kind of parking space, but it's essentially like a glorified, charging station or whatever. But it's up to you guys whether you're comfortable. with
but
that.
it's a pretty good sized piece of equipment, the arms and everything.
Yeah, it has an arm.
It's a cantilever arm, so it's a pole like a light post would be. And I believe at the very top, it's somewhere around 13.
It's 11,
tall.
it's 11.
Okay, so 11 feet tall, and then it's an arm that hangs over. So where the line for the parking space would be, there's an arm that just hangs there, sticking like this with the vacuum hose hanging off. of
And
that.
where you're putting that is probably about 2 to 3 feet above the streetscape at Cornelia. I believe that's a fairly steep ramp up.
We're pulled back to where the current edge of parking is, which seems to be about 2 to 3 feet. I don't have to
Okay.
scale.
So from the streetscape, it's 13, 14 feet.
From the streetscape, yeah, it's probably an extra
Okay.
foot or so, yeah. And I think you just.
I drive by
Yeah,
it
I
3
mean,
to
well,
4
it's
times a
actually-
day, so it's.
It's in line with the.
I'm not from up here, and I don't try to find.
The sign for this, this car wash establishment, you know, the freestanding sign,
Yep.
it's in line with
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
So, and this is what the structures look like,
Yeah.
that's like a side view, so the cars would pull up, like one car would pull here, and their passenger side of their vehicle would use this hose. And the next car would pull on this side, and the driver's side would use that hose.
I'm just gonna, to me, going along Cornelia Street, and we talked about impact on the neighborhood. And you're driving along Cornelia, and then all of a sudden you see aliens, no, I mean, they're not, but these
Yeah,
pipe
it's-
structures and this stuff,
it's
and
definitely
things making
structured.
noise. I'm just telling you, and the other thing is, if you take those circles and that square of the machinery, you put it where that hatch, as an example, where the hatch thing is.
Mhm.
The whole circle shifts back so that the decibels are not even at the sidewalk anymore, so that it's what,
So, I'm okay with us taking those ones away. Like I said, I'd like to have, but I understand your concerns and I want to be reasonable, so. I'm okay with taking those away, and we can move that, like I said.
right, and I think that the streetscape is just nicer, it has less impact on the quality, the neighborhood. If it was any other kind of structure, we would say, if we were to put sheds there, it would say, no, it's too close to the street. They are structures, they are, so I guess we.
So the sequence of this would have to be,
What's
anyway,
that?
that the area variance would have to be voted on first.
Well,
In
unless they
order,
withdrew it.
because the special use permit would be contingent on there not needing any variances. So if the variance need for the area variance goes away, then you're just talking about the special use permit, but I don't see any harm dealing with the area variance
Right. Well,
anyway.
If the area variance isn't approved, it doesn't stop us from.
Same plan, same deal.
Yeah.
The super majority, a year,
But that's only for the work in the,
huh?
that only be for the work
That
in
would
the
only
40
be for the
foot.
work.
Yes,
Yes.
In the.
On that
in
variance,
the
Yeah.
40-foot
Yes.
setback.
yes. Only on, if we rejected the variance in the 40-foot, the 1 year would only apply to that 40-foot variance.
Right.
and it's not to say you couldn't apply for something different. It would have to be
No,
considered
I-
substantial.
I think my sentiment is that I probably would not have 3 yes votes for that variance right now anyway, so.
Four.
I'm sorry. I mean
You need
yeah,
four.
So I would just say, let's withdraw that
Mhm.
and,
And I think that that's good because it simplifies, it takes out of the special use permit a whole impact of the quality of and the effective quality of life and the streetscape and everything. It moves the noise, whether we think it's bad or don't think it's bad, all the way from that. Nobody can say we let you put something too close. I wouldn't honestly, frankly, let you put something so close because I think that it's just too imposing. And I don't like stuff along Green Street. You want to be able to see, the businesses, so.
Well, and there's an opportunity for some changes along there. First off, the car dealers moving.
They
So-
are, okay.
Yeah, they're in the process of building north of the city, so that's gone. I'm not sure what the plans are there. And maybe someday the house on the other side of that private street will go
Yeah,
away.
there's something with that lot that was there, Joe. There's not room on that lot, the house on the other side that's for sale.
That should have been demolished years ago.
The house directly across right there, right?
Yeah,
Existing
yeah.
residential property, yeah.
Yeah, the eyesore.
But there's something wrong with that
We've actually
lot,
had
like
some
a lot to something.
Yeah.
About that property.
Well, I mean, it's a standalone lot.
Knock it down.
It's a standalone lot. I don't know what somebody would want to do with it.
If you bought that, you could put a gate up and charge all the people to go there.
It's not, I'm just one of the operations managers. I don't know the company where we have a board and a
Well-
private equity group that's behind us, but I have actually made the suggestion that we should buy that and knock it down and just leave it a vacant piece of property because it will increase our visibility so much, but they.
You can't have one of your excavators just swing around accidentally.
Just fall on itself eventually.
It's definitely there, so, but, I'm okay with withdrawing the application for the front setback, because like I said, it's something that I'd like to have.
Okay, so I guess for the record, you are withdrawing the Class B area variance appeal 2289 for accessory use in the front yard setback.
Yes.
Okay, and that goes away. All right. Then,
Just ask that, with the other application and before we go to the meeting next week with the planning board, we'll have answers to all the rest of their questions, but we'll update the plan and delete everything in that setback. And we will show in one way or another an emergency exit from here in one of the 2 days that
And you can answer the staff and questions to them.
I'll answer the stack of
Like,
questions.
that's not really,
I might not be here for that meeting, but.
Well,
probably,
your group.
Yeah. Somebody will be here for that.
Well, in general, we are meeting the requirements of the city, and this will help, you know, it's improving a situation that, you know, the applicant themselves wants to improve. So,
I'm really curious about that. I didn't know it existed.
I know, I always thought it was only after we got through site, but anyway.
there's no public, so I guess public hearing, anyone speak? No? Okay, public hearing portion is closed. Review of the seeker. This is the full one. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was for the special use or for the area variance, we can do the longer form, so I don't know, but either way. I mean,
It'll work.
either way, it's
No
all
sense
on,
doing one of each.
I mean, we're not adding any new pavement or anything, it's all within the existing footprint of what's there.
There was a comment from MLD, if I remember right, something that they were looking for the power requirements. The municipal lighting department,
Okay. Yeah, we'll get into it.
they were looking for loading as a result of it.
On page 2 of 13, item B, it says other local agencies have no exception in this building. You always look at that.
That's how he got his gray hair.
Mine's falling off. Which is just- 10-year-old lets me know about it all the time.
You're not expanding 450%.
Well, I think it's only the.
That might be
back.
450% of the back.
Of the back, of the back.
Because we had 4. and we were
Yeah.
gonna go
No,
to-
yeah, but I'm saying, as opposed to existing project or use, it'd be the whole use, so I'm gonna tell you that
Okay,
it's not 450,
it's
it's
okay,
10%.
10,
20%.
15%.
yeah, okay.
I'm gonna say 20%.
I guess it all depends on what you're looking at.
I do good with the car wash stuff. It will work on this.
one time where the hair salon was a garage, right? And didn't they detail cars in there?
Yeah.
Well, there still is an existing garage there. The salon used to be a C-store, and they have. Years ago.
Yeah, that. Oh, it's clear now, but that canopy's going away as part of it.
Yeah. I'm just-
Okay, can I get a motion in regards to the long form of seeker?
I move that after review of the full environmental assessment form, that we find that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental.
The second, Ellie, all in favor? Aye. Okay. I think we've pretty much gone over everything unless anyone has any last minute questions.
I have a question, but just as a customer, if I wanted to use the vacuums, but I didn't want to go through the car wash, how would I be doing that?
We typically just say they're for customers.
Makes sense.
And we don't allow people to just come in and use the vacuum unless they've gotten their car washed.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
But isn't it a membership or going through the car wash is already paid for?
It's already paid for, right?
But you want people to get their exterior washed and then go back.
And then head to the vacuums, yeah. So we tried in one place a long time ago to put the vacuums situated in a way where people didn't have to actually wash their car. And what we found was it drove a lot more traffic to the site and people were coming to just use the vacuums, and we created our own nightmare. So
It makes sense.
that was one of the plans I had actually brought and I think showed you guys in that meeting for New Way, where I had redone, this piece of property and changed the circulation to fix that, because, that was a trial by error for us. And it really. Nightmare.
Makes sense.
A lot of people just came in and used the vacuums every day, I don't have my car washed until next week, but, I'm gonna get this thing out. I live near a beach community, so there's a lot of sand. and
Oh,
things like
yeah.
that. So that's why we kind of laid it out this way, where we just can't come in and access the vacuums.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion, and it should note that it would be removing any of the accessory structures from the 40-foot setback.
We can make a motion for appeal number 2290, since I'm on a roll, for Splash Car Wash Plattsburgh. Just approving the special use permit. correct?
Yep.
Okay, so yes, thank you. To approve the special use permit request for the expansion of the existing car wash to allow additional automobile vacuum spaces to be installed. However, with the elimination of any of the structures within the 40-foot setback,
Front yard setback.
front yard setback.
Second by Ellie. A yes vote is to approve. Here we are, 5 yes votes.
Thank you very
You're
much.
good to go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, really. Good luck with the. There's always a way. I think it'll be good. Yeah, no.
And I will say, I was a little bit surprised we hadn't seen this.
I really hadn't.
I know. So you understand my hesitancy.
Absolutely.
Do you need more copies?
Now, is it okay if I hold on to this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think if we,
I've been told it's in my email.
I'm surprised somebody showed up, because Steve and I are the only two guys that will work on this. I don't know.
New way.
I have no idea.
You know, Wait, showed up.
That's why all those notes were there. New way
I
showed
really
up
don't.
for it.
I mean, I can find out from the county who
Yeah.
they must have,
He and I handled this entire application together, just the two of us. Aaron didn't say anything.
Oh,
I don't know.
That's because he didn't like his treatment. He didn't want to tell you.
You know, it reminds me of, and I don't want to take up any more of your evening, but we have a car wash in a city, Bridgeport in Connecticut. And somebody came and stole a whole bunch of our cones. Like we have cones from one of our chemical distributors, they say cyanide on it, stole some of our menu signs. And the guy was like, there's something not right upstairs, and he set them up in his driveway and started advertising that he had a car wash in his house, in his garage. And the zoning enforcement officer came to us and gave us like the cease and desist for operating a car wash in a residential neighborhood. And I was like, what are you talking about? We're not- And he's like, no, it's your signs, it's all your stuff. And I'm like, somebody stole it all. We want to drive it over to the guy's house. Yeah. He somehow got a uniform, had a shirt on with a Splash logo on it. We want to have to get a restraining order. I'm starting to get vibes like that. Like, I don't know if that's-
yeah, maybe it was him.
Thank you very much for your time.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, and we have minutes.
Thank you. I make a motion to approve the minutes from the July meeting.
You get my note on change wording? No? Okay, I wasn't an elected chairperson. I was, what would the term be? Appointed?
Appointed.
Appointed. If you would just change that. I don't think I could be elected.
Maybe we should put you up for election.
Is it just us who's voting?
Does that mean
Or
I
is it the
could,
public?
I'd be out of here in an instant?
Yeah, you still got a way out.
Okay. All right, we had a motion from Elizabeth with that one modification, seconded by Ron. All in favor? Aye. Nays? No. Any other business from anyone? No?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second? DJ,
Oh,
come
second.
on.
I thought you said yes. second.
There we go.
I got that.
All in favor? Aye, we're adjourned.